All right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Spike Kool-Aid for November 29th, 2022. Can y'all believe that we are at the end of the year, man? That's crazy. That is crazy. Seems like this year was a whirlwind year. Shout out to Dave. What's going on, man? What's up, Gaddy? What is Papa Dockin', man? It's kind of a slow news day. Slow news day. So we got a few things to talk about, but not a lot. Most of everything happened yesterday. But still some stuff I wanted to talk about. Some stuff came out after we got off. And that's okay. Gives us more content for today. So me and my man, shout out to Mr. Poole, shout out to Vision. What's going on? Listen, me and my man, Mr. Poole, having a discussion. And I need somebody to clarify this because I thought that the Detroit Lions I think they have 8 draft picks. But I'm looking at this Pride of Detroit graphic, and I need somebody to clarify this for me because I'm a little bit confused. The Lions traded T.J. Hockenson November 1st, and he is about to spend his first month as a Minnesota Viking. We traded a second and third round for 2023. We gave them T.J. a fourth rounder in 2023, so we have no fourth rounder, and we gave them a conditional fourth rounder in 2024. That's based off a playoff game or something like that. But on this graphic, I don't see our second, third round pick. So can somebody clarify what is going on in that third round? Because I thought we had 2 first, two seconds one from the Vikings and our own, and we had 1 third as well. But somebody clarify that if you can. So hopefully everybody is having a good morning. I just got to say, man, Syndicate Sports Detroit, we hit 500 subscribers earlier this morning. We launched this channel October the 11th. I was just tired of being on the sideline, man. Tired of being on the sideline. Launched it about, 7 weeks ago, 6.5, and we hit 5,000. So we are on our way, man, and that's a big deal. And a week from today, we have a gentleman, I just got to get the contract all typed up and everything, who is scheduled to start his show. So y'all won't see me on Tuesday. You'll get me Monday. You'll get him Tuesday. And you'll get me probably Wednesday, Thursday. Now, we could have a show where we, piggyback off each other or something like that. But we'll be talking about the same thing. So I think after 2 hours of that, y'all might have had enough. So that is what's happening there. I'm excited about both those things, man. We are coming along real quick. And that's a shout out to y'all guys. And one thing I can tell you, man, if you want to do something, just do it. Yes. Mr. Poole says, side note, this came about because I looked at the draft picks after I stated I will pick up a kicker, Jake Moody, in the draft. Yes, so we were just having a discussion, and I'm a bit confused because I thought we had a second and a third round in 2023. So that would give us 6 picks in the first 3 rounds, but that doesn't sound right either. So I have no idea. But what's up, Mudbone? What's going on, man? All right, so the first thing I want to talk about is this. So let's do a segment real quick. And I saw something. This came out yesterday after we got off. And we kind of knew that this was coming, but I don't know. I think we're getting excited. It's like waiting for a present. You know you about to get that PS5, right? You already know you snuck into your parents' secret hiding place, and you know you about to get this PS5. And then you're supposed to get it, and you don't, right? No, you got to wait. Maybe somebody was supposed to come from out of town and get you this, you had to wait for them in order for you to get this PS, man. It's PS5 or whatever gift you're waiting on. And that's how we are, man. So let's get this segment started. So remember, if you have any chat comments about the segment, then I can read them, because if I read other comments, then it throws the segment off and then there's no cohesion. So here we go. So yesterday when we got off, we've been talking about this in what seems forever. Well, it seems like forever. And I remember back in April of this year, seems so long ago, right? Back in April of this year, we were sitting in front of the televisions and we were watching the NFL draft. We picked Aiden Hutchinson with the second overall pick, and I, for one, was ecstatic. I remember just going crazy because that was the edge rusher that I wanted. Missed out on Chase Young, missed out on Nick Bosa. We missed out on some guys, so it's like we got to get our pass rusher. And then we think that we know Brad Holmes got something up his sleeve, right? We know, we've seen this guy. Now, he was not the GM when they traded up for Jared Goff. Okay? Mr. Poole says voice was gone right after that pick. Mr. Poole, you've been around that long? That's crazy, bro. I didn't even realize that, man. Man, went crazy, right? Was very disappointed at the fact that we were not going to pick again until 32. So we're all, popping out our tents. We're sitting around waiting on the next pick. And then we hear through the broadcast that there's been a trade, that the Detroit Lions have traded up with the Minnesota Vikings. We're trying to figure out what's going on. And then we hear this. The Detroit Lions have traded with the Minnesota Vikings, and with the 12th overall pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Jameson Williams, wide receiver, Alabama. And I popped a gasket because all I saw was defense. All I saw was how bad our defense was and how much we needed help. Now, I came around rather quickly. It's not that I didn't know about Jameson Williams. I just instantly went defense. And I was right. I mean, listen, I don't toot my horn very much, but in this game, you kind of got to toot it, man. Everybody takes so much pride on being right. Everybody has to be right. You have to be wrong. I'm not like that, but so we got the bottom-ranked defense. But Jameson Williams will be a star. And a lot of us have been dying to see this man play. First 4 weeks of the NFL season, the Detroit Lions had the number one offense without Jameson Williams. When DeAndre Swift went down, St. Brown went down, we kind of lost grips. And now we're ranked top 10. But Jameson Williams has finally been cleared to play. That happened last week. We kind of said, nah, there's no way he plays against Jacksonville. Then it was like, well, maybe he does play against Jacksonville. Well, it came out yesterday that Dan Campbell said it's a long shot for Jameson Williams or Romeo to play this Sunday. But we knew that, though, but we let ourselves get excited about this. Now, a lot of people seem to think this is about getting Jameson 100%. Jameson Williams is 100% now. Jameson Williams has been 100% for months. He has been 100% for months, but like we all knew when we took an injured wide receiver in the draft, traded up to get this guy, that he was not meant for this year. And I promise you that no NFL doctor, no doctor is going to let this kid come out here less than 100%. The body it heals quicker than you think. Jameson Williams is 21, somewhere around there? He just stopped growing not too long ago. His body is fine. It's us old folks we got to worry about. When you get in your 40s and 50s, you break something, you might be laid up for 5-6 months. Jameson Williams is fine. It was never about him being 100%. It was never about him playing. Was never about it. Will he be ready injury-wise? It was about will he be brought up to speed with the game. Now, before the Lions played the Bills, dude is out there gunning. He is running. He didn't look like he missed a step. Looking fly, looking like a little ant running full speed from the nosebleeds. But we let ourselves get excited about this Jacksonville game when I should have just went with my timetable. 2 to 3 weeks from when he was cleared. That puts us at the Minnesota Vikings game. Now, That's my final prediction, that Jameson Williams will play at the Minnesota Vikings game. We got 2 home games left. This will be the second to last opportunity for home fans to see Jameson Williams. So I think he plays. That's my final answer. Is that your final answer? That's my final answer. Jameson Williams makes his NFL Detroit Lion debut. Probably very limited snaps. He might get between 10 and 15. Everybody's going to be holding their collective breath when he gets hit. When Brad traded up, I thought we were getting a QB. See, Dave, I didn't think that because there really wasn't any. You know what I'm saying? Like, it really wasn't any QBs. We knew this draft class was going to be probably not the best. So I kind of knew we weren't doing that. I mean, I can see that, though, because Malik Willis was still there, and, are we drafting up to get a quarterback, and he could go 2, and I think Kyle Hamilton was still there because he didn't go until like 14, I think. So I thought it was more Kyle Hamilton, somewhere around there, because we needed a safety. We needed a linebacker. But Jameson Williams would probably not be out there. They're still trying to get him and Romeo up to speed. So it's like you waited this long, right? What's another week? I hope that it's 5 games because I had him back as early as after the bye week. I mean, we still had 2/3 of our season back then, right? But I'm just a little sad, man, because the anticipation is so high for this guy. It's so high for Jameson Williams. But nonetheless, he is the future. When he comes, when he starts to play, everyone's going to be excited. And Jameson Williams will be fine. We can't think about the injury. He can't think about the injury. He has to go out there, play what he does, do what he does best, and play the game. But Jameson Williams, long shot to play. Doesn't mean he won't. But the way Dan Campbell was talking yesterday, we won't see him until at least Minnesota. Man, oh man. Yeah, I was livid. Mr. Poole says, I was even in the day 2 stream. I think I was one of the 3 people saying Pascal was a good pick. You know what, Mr. Poole, the thing about Pascal was I think I was still stuck on Jameson. And he had the hernia issue, right? That was Pascal. Something was wrong. What's up, Katie? What's going on? Eric says, anybody heard anything on Julia? I don't think so. What's up, Augustus? What's going on, man? Him laying on the field is looking pretty bad. Easy for me to say from the couch, but still. Yeah, I haven't heard anything on him. And that's terrible because he's hurt and his brother is on the comeback. I'll tell you what, though. What's up, Dylan? What's going on, man? We were just talking about Jameson Williams, man, and the fact that he'll probably come back in the game against the Minnesota Vikings. Now, you know what, Dan? This year has been like a year of parity. And I think it's been a year of parity with the Detroit Lions fans. I think this year, it's like any other year that we've been through, right? Because the hype coming into this year was ridiculous. We had Hard Knocks. That was announced before the draft. We draft Aiden Hutchinson. We draft Jameson Williams, and we draft, 6 other players as well. And we went into this year, a lot of people had subdued expectations. I had, I think, moderate expectations, and that was based off the team has gotten better. We all knew the defense was going to be in trouble, but the team has gotten better. And I looked at their strength of schedule, and I assumed that the Giants would be bad, the Jets would be bad. The teams that we know to be bad are bad. And we could beat them. Well, they turned around to be the teams that were bad, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Yesterday was their first win in a long time. Remember, the Jacksonville Jaguars, if I'm not mistaken, were 2-1 or something like that. 3-3 is something. But they got to win. And I'll tell you what, they're going to come in here with bigger feet than they had if they wouldn't have won that game. We can't overlook them for sure. But it's been a crazy year, and I don't know about y'all, man. But this offseason, it feel like the past 2 off seasons have flown by. This offseason coming up, it's gonna go slow. I feel like it's gonna go slow. Especially don't let us miss out on the playoffs by 1 game. Don't let us miss out on the playoffs by 2 games. Then we're gonna be like, oh, if Dan Campbell would have done this, if he wouldn't have done that, if we could have just, and we're gonna have to sit on that. But at the same time, maybe we weren't ready to go. We're not gonna go far anyway. 1 and done, we get bounced out. Now for me, that would be enough. At this point, we haven't won. But you know what I want to see now? I want to see Dan Campbell do something that has not been done since 2017. Can anybody tell me what that is? Anybody in the chat, can anybody tell me what can Dan Campbell do? I'm looking for something specific that hasn't been done since 2017. There's your clue. Detroit, Michigan, what's going on? Ben says we never expected playoffs this year. That is true. We are going to draft defense or offense with that first pick. I think we're going to take defense. Nick says win 5 games. KD says go above 500. Okay. And David says playoffs. Beat the Packers twice. Okay. I could have probably gave y'all a little bit more. Back-to-back wins. Nope, we already did that. We completed that, and we had one more. Patty Grimes says, I want at least a 500 record. Nick says winning the division. Well, Nick, we have never done that in the NFC North. All right? This one was very easy, but y'all don't talk about the team every day on YouTube, so you probably let this one slip over your head. What I want Dan Campbell to do that hasn't been done since 2017 is win 7 games. Win 7 games. It was sitting right in front of y'all the whole time. We have not won 7 games since Jim Caldwell was fired. And I wanted him to do that so bad last year. Because to me, it would have got rid of the Matt Patricia stench. Now, that stench was still floating around, wasn't it? It's like going into the locker room. You ever walk behind somebody and they got that stench? Or you just around them and they smell like dirty? You know how you smell dirt? You be like, ooh, they smell dirty, right? Gaddy says, just 7. It's been that long since a 7-win season. Yep. We have not won 7 games since Jim Caldwell was fired. Matt Patricia's first year, 6-10. Matt Patricia's second year, 3-12-1. Matt Patricia's third and final year, 5-11. Dan Campbell's first year, 3-13-1. Dan Campbell's year 2, 4-7 thus far. Now, the media had us at 6.5. And I'm going to tell you what. The media has been spot on for the past 5 years when they predict the Lions schedule. 2 things they predicted. Wins and that we would have a historically bad defense. It's almost like they know something we don't. It's almost like they got somebody on the inside. It's almost like it's already pre-written. But the media said 6.5 for the Detroit Lions 2022 record. And that we would have the worst defense in the league. We would give up, y'all ready for this? 599 yards, which will be worse than in NFL history. So this season has been weird because of what it's put us through, right? We had higher expectations year 2 than year 1. Now, I was talking playoffs, right? I wasn't talking playoffs last year. I did think we might have won 7. And if you think about it, give or take, we could have won. We could have won 7 games, right? But that's the NFL. If this happened, we could have. Look at the last 3 wins. The last 3 wins, 2 of those 3 wins were decided on the final play. The third win wasn't so close, but it was dictated really by 1 play. Aiden Hutchinson gets the picks off Daniel Jones. Now we take over that game and we dominate from there, from there forth. But it's come down to one play. One play here, one play there, one coaching decision here, one coaching decision there. So I think that the Lions realistically will win 7 games. I would love to see them go 9-8. I would love to see them go 10-7. I would love for that in the hunt graphic to turn into in the playoffs. It's funny seeing us as the final team. The Detroit Lions are the final team hanging around in the hunt. Now, we got 6 games left, so that could change. But most of the people underneath us are done. They're done. The Packers, been hearing that Aaron Rodgers will play if there's something to play for, right? If not, I guess something on Pat McAfee today, he said like he's open to basically allowing Jordan Love to play. Nick says, would you be disappointed in finishing 3-3? Nick, that is a good question, bro. Let's give Nick the first air horn of the season. Of the day. Because, Nick, it's a slow news day, man. But that's a segment. I only need 2 a day. So I sometimes I'll record a bunch of segments. And then I'll choose whichever ones, had the best flow. So we're about to record a segment. Thank you, Nick. I appreciate that, bro. So we had a great question in the chat. And it was we were talking about the Detroit Lions season and how they haven't won 7 games since 2017. And Jim Caldwell was head coach. And my guy Nick asked a really good question that I think is a really decent question. He says, would you be disappointed if the Lions finish 3-3? And would I be disappointed? I have a lot of emotions with that one question. The last 6 opponents for the Detroit Lions, they got 3 home, 3 away. They got 2 back-to-back homes coming up. Then they have 1 near the second to last week of the season. The remaining schedule is at home against the Jaguars, at home against the Vikings, on the road against the Jets, on the road against the Carolina Panthers, at home against the Bears, and on the road against the Green Bay Packers. Would I be disappointed if they go 3-3? If they go 3-3, that puts us at 7-10. That will put us over what the media had us at 6.5, put us right in that middle tier to draft someone with our pick, and will lead into 2023 as that team on the cusp of a come-up. Now, Eric says disappointed, yes. Discouraged, no. Eric, that's actually a perfect answer, and I will piggyback off that. Disappointed, yes. I agree. Why? Why would I be disappointed if the Lions go 3-3? Well, because we discussed earlier, that puts it to 7. But then I'll start thinking about what if Dan Campbell coached a better game? What if we had a defense and we can make one more stop? So my mind is going to be 9 wins. My mind is going to be on my record prediction. And my mind is going to be on the playoffs. But on the other side of that, discouraged, no. Discouraging to me would be regressing, which it looks like we did at the beginning of the season. When we were 1-6, nobody saw progress. I mean, you can say you did. We're progressing, but we were losing. And at the end of the day, that's all that matters. We can do all the stuff. At the end of the day, that's all that matters. Dan Campbell told us the team after the Bills lost. He said, we let it slip away. It stings. I want this to sting. Now I hope he's listening to his own words because he gotta call some better plays, make some better decisions. But he wants this to sting. And that's why I was saying that when we talk about tanking, that we have to consider more than just what we feel. Because if you think that any professional player in the National Football League, there's a player that played on, I think it was last night's game or Sunday night, got a lacerated kidney And you think these guys want to lose. So disappointed, yeah, I would be because you looked at the ones that got away. But discouraged? No. If we go 3-3, Nick, I think that we're going to be one of the hottest teams coming into 2023. And that's real. We'll do something we hadn't done since Matt Patricia, since Jim Caldwell, which is win 7 games. We'll do something we haven't done since Jim Caldwell, which is pick in the top, not pick in the top 10. We'll do that. We'll be on the come up if we go 3-3. So for me, the question, like I said, I'll piggyback off Eric there. Disappointed, yes. Discouraged, no. Let me know what you would think in the comments below. Man, you know, that's how my mind works, y'all. I'm a numbers dude, and I'm all next year or all the offseason while we're watching the playoffs and while we're doing this and doing that. When the season's over and Brad Holmes gets in front of the media, right, for the first time since the TJ trade, which I thought it was fitting he got in front of the media because he is the one that is responsible for that. So it was only fitting that he got in front of the media. For me, if we miss out on the playoffs by 2 or 3 games, like 2 or 3 wins, I'm probably going to think about that to like May, right? Draft to be over. The draft, once we start like that official transition into next season, because at the end of January, it's still the season. The new league year doesn't start till March, right? So I'm going to be sitting on that for a solid 4 months because that's just the way I do. That's just the way I do. Python, what's up, man? I think this is the first time I've seen you in here. It says, we all had this moral progression, and it ultimately means nothing, but there was finally a spark when that 3 weeks ago. Oh, when that happened 3 weeks ago. You mean the winning streak? If golf wins as a playoff game, do you think the fan would change their views on golf? I think it would. Some would, Denzel. I think if you don't like golf, nothing is going to change your mind on Jared Goff. You're going to want to see something different. Aaron coming back because if he don't, Jordan does. Oh, he gone anyway. He's done. They need to move on from him. Goff shouldn't get the credit if we win a playoff game. Okay? It's kind of dumb. He's a quarterback. Why should he not get the credit? I'm not sure what you mean by there. Mark Orm from Orm's Forum. What's up, big dog? What's going on, man? Hope everything is going well with you, my friend. Mark in the building. Check out Mark. Y'all know who Mark is. Boom. You already know what's going on. No, Nate, we're not going down that road today. We spent enough time on Jared Goff. I don't want to go there today. Lions Mania says, I like Goff. I do. I like Goff, but do you like him enough to pay him what he's owed, or would you restructure? Of course I would restructure, Lions. But I got to believe that we talk about this all the time. And, you know, losing sucks, right? Losing makes you question things. Is Brad Holmes the guy? Is Dan Campbell the guy? Right? When we were 1-6, did we think they were the guys? I mean, Dan Campbell has learned. I think for Brad Holmes, his journey takes a little longer because we have to see how that stuff plays out, right? So we have to see how that comes out. So it takes all year. I mean, look at this. Look at this. James Houston, six round pick, didn't make the 53-man roster, was put on the practice squad, elevated to the active roster. Now, some people believe that he was elevated because somebody might have came and taken him. I'm not sure if he was protected. Mark says, Goff wins a playoff game, I'm on board. Wow, that's a lot coming from Mark. Because Mark has shown his frustration with Jared Goff. Goff got paid for a reason. Yeah, we took his contract for a reason too, but I have to believe that in the long game, I believe that Brad Holmes had a long game. I really do. And, you know, I think when people ask Lions fans to be patient and to see the long game, it's hard to see the long game. We see 16 or now 17 games, right? There are things that are cut off from us. These guys work all year round. We see 17 games. This is what we see. We pay our money to go to the stadium, right? We pay for overpriced beers. We pay for parking, $50. So we don't have the patience of a saint. We want to see results. And it's hard to, even if somebody is showing progress, it's hard to put faith in that because of how small the sample size is, right? But this guy, Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell started adjusting, and I think he got better. Jameson Williams is the joker card. Seen a lot of bad QBs in Detroit. Lions fans are already patient. No, I disagree with that completely. I park at my job. I work next door. We're Durin, that's what's up, bro. That's what's up. I wish I could do that. I do want to start going to more games, though. I do want to start going to more games. All right, so check this out. Now, oh, man, this is crazy. Okay, so check this out. All right, so according to Pride of Detroit, I think this is very interesting. We're talking about Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell, and I think this is very interesting, man. Pride of Detroit, shout out to those guys. They do this all the time. Although I think Jeremy Reisman, man, he loves Matthew Stafford. Like, you can't say he also does not like golf. You can tell. Says, Detroit Lions approval, Dan Campbell. We usually see these about Brad Holmes, but this is from today. Do you approve of the job Dan Campbell is doing as head coach of the 4-7 Detroit Lions? It still seems weird. We could have been 5-6. We could have been a lot of things. But the question that I put before the chat and people who watch this on playback, do you approve of, what is your approval like rating of Dan Campbell? Now, they do it in percent. We'll do it in stars, right? So on the scale, 5 stars being the best, you can do 3.5, 2.5. His approval rating. Right? So they have a poll. They do this once a month, I believe. And the question is, do you approve of the job Dan Campbell is doing as Lions head coach? When he got hired, the man hadn't even coached yet for the Detroit Lions. In January of 2021, it was 78%. July of 2021, it was 97%. That is how ready we are to believe in something. The guy hadn't even coached the Detroit Lions yet, and he had a 97% approval rating from Pride of Detroit's poll. October 2021, remember we hadn't won a game, 95%. November 2021, we hadn't won a game, 88%. December 2021, 98%. And when we ended the season, 98%. In September of 2022, 98%. So if you're following along with me, 3 consecutive that they have on there, polls of 98%. In October of this year, 80% approval. Now, in October, we had only won the 1 game. So what do you guys see? I see it be 97, 98 for sure. Nate says 65%, 3.5 stars, 4 out of 5, 4. 4 out of 5, 4 out of 5. Patty says 3 out of 5. 5 out of 5, says Nolan. 4 out of 5. So that means that Dan Campbell is the guy. Dan Campbell is the guy. That's what y'all saying, right? So we're over the 6-1 start. We're over that. Dan Campbell is the guy. That's what y'all saying. I want him to be the guy. I really do. I said that from the beginning. I want him to be the guy. Durin says, love the channel, bro. Keep the videos coming. I work at the DAC downtown, and one of the members going out of town for New Year's gave me Bears tickets, free super close. Well, that should be a great one. I approve he got them playing hard. As long as he continues to progress and nothing falls apart, I want to keep rolling with him. KD, that's a good one, man. Because I think that's the point. The point is him progressing, right? The goal is for you to learn from your mistakes. He said it's only failing if you don't learn from your mistakes. Everybody fails. Everybody needs to progress, right? To get a 4, he would be in the division hunt with the team as assembled now. Patty says he's getting better every game, learn from his mistakes. Yeah, I think he's going to have brain farts like he did last week with the clock management. Sometimes I feel like he need to lay off the lattes just a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I'm watching him do these press conferences. I'm like, bruh, when can anybody name a moment since Dan Campbell was hired that he's been still? I'm talking about entire body still. I don't think you can. But I just worry about the man's safety. But I want this guy to be the guy. The meathead, the kneecap speech, the mockery that was us being had, right? I want him to be the guy. I would love to see Brad Holmes, this tandem work out. Nick says, speaking of progress, what was our record this time last year? We were no wins. I know that. We had tied with the Pittsburgh Steelers. We had to be 0-9-1, somewhere around there. Nope. We were 0-10-1 because week 13 was our first win. So that's my final answer, Nick. 0-13, 0-10-1. I think Nick's point was progress. We have already surpassed our win total for 2021, and we still have 6 games to go. And I think the Detroit Lions got 3 more in them. I think realistically we're looking at 7-10. And man, that's going to hurt. That 7-10 is going to hurt because I believe even with the atrocious defense that we have, maybe if it wasn't utterly atrocious, then we could be up there with the Minnesota Vikings. If you look at our losses, 3 points, 4 points, we led against the Miami Dolphins. So Dan Campbell probably going to end the November poll with a 98% or higher. His lowest was when he got hired at 78%. That's the lowest it's been since he's been hired, even though we didn't win a game until week 13 of last year. So what do you think? 1 out of 5. What is your thoughts on Pride of Detroit's approval rating? And what would you rate Dan Campbell? Yeah, it's going to be tough, y'all. It's going to be tough. I remember when I was younger, the offseason used to go so slow. It used to be like, oh, my God, January, the Super Bowl. It's like, do you know that it's 200 and something days between the Super Bowl and kickoff? There's 365 days in a year, and it's 200 plus from the Super Bowl to kickoff. That's a lot, man. It's like, then I'm thinking about my videos. Remember, before the season started, I was counting down. We've got 80 days until the Lions take the field. We've got 79 days until the Lions take the field. And going into this year, I'm going to be lit. I'm going to be wired, man. Because if we end 7-10, even if we end 6-11, if we win 7 games, Shadow says YouTube is hiding your channel. I don't know what's that's about. Are you telling me I'm being shadow banned? Is that what's happening? I'm Salty says off season is the best part of our season. He get the second air horn of the day. That's facts, bro. Because let me tell you a little, so we're going to take a little break real quick. Where we at? We're going to take a little break, just a little break, okay? This channel was created October 27, 2021. I made a video, and then once Odell Beckham got cut, and we were first to pick him up, I was like, I got to make a video. So I made a video saying we weren't going to get this guy. Well, no, I said we might. I don't know what I was thinking, but I said I don't think. And then when Josh Reynolds was cut, it's like, we going to get this guy. We get him. That's a no-brainer. So now I took a break from December to Brad Holmes' off-season press conference. I got in front of the camera. I had taken a month off. I got in front of the camera. Do you know, when I started making videos in the middle of January, my Detroit Lions Syndicate had 200 and some odd subscribers. Why am I bringing that up? Because I grew more in the Detroit Lions offseason than I have done this season. Because when the season is here, reality sinks in. There's no more wonder because the product is on the field. When this team was 1-6, everybody was up in arms, including myself, right? We have to get better where the draft is not our Super Bowl. We have to get better that the offseason is not the most wonderful time of the year. It's not when we're playing. Do you know that listen, I don't understand how people like losing. Because when you like, if you buy a defective product, what are you going to do? Are you going to keep that product? If my PlayStation 5 stopped working, I'm going to be mad. I'm going to be mad. If it's defective, I'm going to be lit, right? Livid, because I paid for a product to work. Who keeps a defective product? If the Lions are on the field and they're losing and you're okay with that, you're keeping a defective product. And what happens? When the season starts, that's when everybody checks out. Yes, we're going to talk about that, Mr. Poole. That'll be a segment. And then I'll pick between a couple of those. So to go with salty stuff with the Lions shirt, I see that. I don't know if that's actually you, but I can see the little lion on there. We have to get past where the offseason is our Super Bowl. Because these games are too short. Who else cannot wait until Sunday? Who else cannot wait? I'm like, what day is it? We got to get through Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. At least we get to see Michigan play Saturday night. But then we got to get to Sunday. It's like, who else can't wait for football? Lions football. Nick says it's a loser's mentality. Derwin says, fun fact, bro. We have the tiebreaker over the Giants of Washington, so this might be. Derwin, you must be new, bro. You got to be new because your boy done broke it down already. I done broke this. Everybody else is catching up with me. I've already done this, bro. I do this all the time. I did a whole video on how the Detroit Lions can make the playoffs. One of the things that I said is it's got to come down between the Giants and Commanders. Oh, and the Commanders, they play the Giants this week, I think. And guess who we need to win? Who do we need to win, y'all? Who do we need to win out that game? Commanders or Giants? Mr. Poole says, I think Detroit wins against Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville is super inconsistent. Trevor Lawrence has a great game, but then lost for a while. Katie says Commanders. Commanders will win. Salty says, I wanted the Lions to win. The fact that they haven't in the last 20-plus years watching and I'm waiting isn't my fault. Where the assignment lies. Who said it was your fault, bro? Who said I didn't say it was your fault? I didn't even allude to it being your fault. I'm just saying you speaking facts. Nick says Giants. Giants, I'm guessing we need the Giants to win. All right. Matthew says it doesn't matter. All right. So who do we need to win that game? Who do we need to win that game? We did beat both of those teams. One of those teams are 7-5. One of those teams are 7-4. Both teams are in the playoffs. The Giants are 6th. Okay. I believe. And yes, the Giants are 6th and the Commanders are 7th. We have the tiebreaker against both. We do. We do. We need them to split with each other. Okay, this is getting good. This is getting good. Giants because they've got the better record. So we need the Giants to win. It is a win-win situation. But from my calculations and what I expect, I say we need a Washington win. But the Giants, a win from them would do us some good as well. Because if you look at the Giants' schedule, the Giants have a really tough schedule. Now, somebody said in my comment section today that the Eagles will be sitting people in Week 18. That is a valid comment, valid thought. I didn't even think about that. We need the Giants, in my opinion, we need the Giants to lose because they can risk losing out and fall completely out. In my opinion, we need the Giants out and we need the Seahawks out. Yes, Bob, they do. But they give you a percentile, don't they? The New York Times. See, I'd rather go straight to the source. I don't want no percentages. I want how we get in. Either when I see that graphic pop up, I know we in. So that's what I do. Derwin says I'm sneaking after church. Oh, to the game? Why you got to sneak though? Church will be over, so why can't you just go? One is going to get in. We need the other to lose in the next few weeks. This is what y'all need to happen. We need the Giants. We need the Commanders to start losing too. But listen, we need the Giants to fall completely out. We also have to keep the Seahawks at bay. And a sneaky team that is not out yet is the Atlanta Falcons. We got to get them done. They got to be out completely. Wow. Salty. Wow. Okay, Salty, we got one playoff win since segregation. That is a brutal fact. But, Salty, at least we had a bye week, right, in 1991. We did have so that's like a free playoff game. And we did lose to the team that won the Super Bowl. So, I guess if you're going to lose, you might as well lose to that team. We need the Rams to lose. Oh, don't worry about the Rams. The Rams ain't winning another game. Aaron Donald probably going to be on the shelf. Cooper Kupp on the shelf. Kelly doesn't want Matthew Stafford to play another snap this season. They are washed. But the Texans ain't winning another game either, so y'all can forget about that. Your best bet is the Bears to win a few games, the Rams to lose out. We get the number 2 pick. We take Will Anderson. So, from my calculations, yes, we do, Nate, and that's going to be a tall order. If the Rams could at least split with the Seahawks. Now, this is my honest opinion. This is what I think is going to happen. I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers they're going to take the South. I think the Atlanta Falcons, Marcus Mariota, is untrustworthy. They're going to start falling off, right? We don't have to worry about them per se. They are the team that is ahead of us. So we kind of do, but I think they fall. They're not in yet, right? The good news is the Packers, Falcons, and Saints all could have passed us this week, but they didn't. They all lost. The only couple things that didn't happen, we didn't win. The NFC is so tight this year that even with the win, right now, do you know where we're sitting? We're sitting at number 9, still behind the Seattle Seahawks. So the only difference would have been if we won, we would have been sitting at number 9, right? The Seahawks lost one game and are out of the playoffs. If the Bucs would have lost and the Falcons would have won, they would be leading the South and the Bucs would be outside the playoffs. That's how tight the NFC is, right? Okay? So we need this thing. If you are one of the people like myself that are hoping for playoffs, I mean, as long as they're there, I'm just hoping. This is what I want, y'all, okay? I want meaningful football in December, and we got that. We got that. Nick brought it up earlier in the segment. We didn't win a game this time last year. Our first win was coming this weekend. The Lions' first win came week 13 of last year. We were on the way, and it wasn't just a win, y'all. It was a walk-off win. Like, we just won a Super Bowl celebration win. So I think South goes to the Bucs. West goes to the Niners. The Niners might not lose another game, to be real. I think the East, obviously the Eagles, and I think the North, the Vikings can clinch the NFC North with a win and a Lions loss this Sunday. North will be done, right? 3 spots left. Cowboys, number 5. The Eagles ain't safe yet, but the Cowboys, number 5. Right now, listen to this, y'all. Right now, the entire NFC East is in the playoffs. I'm going to say it again. The entire NFC East, which has not happened yet in the 2 years that the 7th seed has been available, the whole NFC East right now is in the playoffs. The only way for us to make it is for 2 of them teams to go. If 3 go, we're out. And y'all talking about something completely. What's happening in the chat? Who are y'all battling? I'm on this whole soliloquy about the playoffs, and I look down and we talking about what are we doing? Meaningful football in December. Okay? The Lions win. They're still playing meaningful football. If they lose this coming Sunday, probably not. Okay. Shout out to Aaliyah. She's in the chat, says, why does he keep saying your name? Because your pops, Aaliyah, is commenting in the YouTube comment section, so I'm answering his questions. But shout out to you. Hope you're having a good day. But the Detroit Lions are playing meaningful football in December. And I'm going to tell you right now, remember, I want y'all to remember that Derek from Lions Syndicate Sports Detroit said it first. All right? The New York Giants have to play the Philadelphia Eagles twice, and one of those games is the last one of the year. And if the Eagles don't lock up the first seed, they will play. They will play. So listen, they will play their starters. If Minnesota keeps winning, except against us, right? You got 9-2 versus 10-1. If they got that first seed locked up and that bye, they will play their starters in Week 18. So we kind of need Minnesota to keep putting pressure on them because I think it's going to come down. This is my prediction. Like I already named, I think it's going to be Cowboys number 5. Right now, it's either going to be Seahawks or Commanders. Number 6 and number 7 is going to come down to Seahawks, New York, and us. Like I said, we are that third team on the outside looking in right now. But Salty, man, that was a fact. The fact that the NFC South and NFC West are this bad this year won't happen again. I don't think we should take it. I don't think we should take advantage of this. What does that mean? What does that mean? We're going to see multiple years where an entire division makes the playoffs. And that's the reason that I think the NFL added that 7th team. Yeah, it's for revenue, it's for that, but it's for drama as well. Oh, you think we should take it? Absolutely. Absolutely we should. Wouldn't that be crazy the year that the entire NFC, if the entire NFC East make the playoffs, we're not going. At that point, we can't go. And that we cannot have that happen. Because if the NFC East make the playoffs, that means it's just the division winners from the other 3 conferences. So we need, realistically, we need 2 from the East and not 4, which means we need to knock out the Giants. We need to knock out the Seahawks. The Seahawks need to be knocked out. Nick says just have to go 6-0, 5-1. 5-0, 5-1 is the absolute. Now listen to this. If the line, I'm telling y'all right now, what it's looking like, every prediction I've done, the Lions would have to go into Minnesota. And I'm not gonna lie, that's the matchup I want to see. I want to fight them, bro. Not physically, but yep, most likely Minnesota. Could you imagine that? No, Salty, are you thinking NBA? There is no AFC, bro. You mean 7th? Yeah. And in my opinion, that's the more favorable matchup. Even though they got Justin Jefferson, Dalvin Cook, TJ Hawkinson, Adam Thielen. Going into Philly, there's no way. There's no way. Like, even though we had them on the ropes, they was at the crib. There's no way that we win in Philly. I just don't see that. I just did a prediction, had us 5-1, and we play Minnesota. That's what I'm talking about. That's the most likely matchup. Wild card weekend, Number 7 would play Minnesota. Listen, we do not want to have to go play the 49ers and Levi. No way, no how. I don't think any team wants to play them. This team is on fire. Could you imagine? Could you imagine? Could you imagine? 7th seed going to Minnesota. Jameson Williams is on fire. Him and Justin duking it out. Kurt does Kurt things. We get the dub. First playoff win in 30-some years. That narrative is done. We knock off the 2nd seed. That's done. Could you imagine? That's the stuff I'm talking about, y'all. That's what I like to feel. Only one team has started 1-6 and made the playoffs. The 1970 Bengals. Could you imagine that? Could you imagine going in? And I'd rather be talking about this than the draft any day of the week. If you told me that there's a scenario that the Lions could make the 7th seed, go to Minnesota, man, give me that all day. I'd probably get a Lions tattoo if we play it like that. Ransom, stop it. He's not going to be a disappointment. And let me just say this. I made a video last week on Detroit Lions Syndicate. Let me just ask y'all, because I want to believe that our fan base is smarter than there appeared in this one situation. I made a segment and I started the video, and it was talking about Jameson Williams coming back, and I had Rafiki. He said the king has returned. And I got all this backlash from the chat about he's not a king yet. He hasn't played a snap. Why? We got to slow down anointing this guy king. Can anybody in this chat tell me why I said the king has returned? Why did I use a Lion King reference in the video? Anybody? We would be the hottest and no one would want to see this team. That's facts. I memean, real talk. I didn't go over the records, but we got to be one of the hottest teams in November. 3-1. Man, 4-0 in November hasn't been done in 60 years. And it's still got a ways to go. I'm not saying he is. I'm saying we keep talking about him like he's our savior. Might not even go like that, I'm sure. No, I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about him like he's a difference maker. That's how most people are talking about him. We're talking about him like he was the fastest player and probably the number 1 receiver coming out the draft, if not hurt. We're talking about him like he is a difference maker, game changer, elite speed. That's why we're talking about Jameson Williams. He's not a savior. Our savior was this guy. There's one savior in the entire world, in the entire universe. He died for us a long time ago. However, Matthew Stafford couldn't win anything here. Eric says, Detroit Lions, Lions King, not a stretch for me. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, man. Somebody has a brain in his fan base. Bro, the whole comment section is, he's not a king. What are you talking about? He's a lion king, king of the jungle. What did we go to school? Did we watch the lion? I mean, anything. Do we know anything about nature? From the dudes on the practice squad to Jared Goff, the whole team are lions. Therefore, they're kings. Thank you, Eric. I don't understand. I just did. But to go with Random's comment, but I'm just like, why are we looking at he hasn't done a thing? Somebody even said we have to stop elevating these sports guys and how about we credit somebody that's doing something academically? I'm like, bro, the dude is a lion. Therefore, he is king of the jungle, the Lion King. Come on, y'all. Lord have mercy. But anyway, listen. Appreciate y'all helping me get through this slow day. Saucy says, part of why we couldn't win with Stafford is because we pay him top dollar as our quarterback and couldn't have any money to pay our team besides him and Calvin. That's facts. We definitely could have done better there. But listen, I appreciate y'all. Got through a slow news day. Hopefully tomorrow we'll hear something. Appreciate y'all again, man, for 500 subscribers. We got a new show launching next Tuesday. I'll drop the name probably on Monday's show. And this guy's name is Nick. Found him on Twitter, and he's excited. He wants to do a podcast. I hit him up. I said, hey, I got a spot for you, and I'm still looking for guys to do Pistons, Red Wings, and stuff like that. You know, like I said before, y'all, to me, this space belongs to people in the city, right? And I know I have a platform. I can never get to levels of Woodward. I don't have that type of backing. But I will always keep it fan. You know what I'm saying? It'll never be corporate. It's always going to be about y'all. Not to say that I don't really know much about them. I don't watch them. Sometimes if something pop in my feed, I'll take a look at it and see what they're talking about now. But, you know, I feel like this should be a fan. My goal has always been to bring the fan, like to remain a fan. I want to hear what y'all have to say. So eventually, it might be after the season. I'm going to appear on camera. I'm going to be taking phone calls and stuff like that. And when I get some sponsors, we'll do that. So you guys, listen, take care. Have a great Tuesday. Have a great day at work with the family, whatever you do. And just remember, y'all, a lion is the king of the jungle. I didn't make this. The lion is at the top of the food chain in the jungle. So come on, y'all. But I'll see y'all tomorrow.